Good afternoon, Zachariah Jackson, Bassett News. I'm here with Kevin Jenkins.
Yes, how are you, my friend? How's everything?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you again.
Well, I viewed you on Facebook
Okay.
when you got off the plane.
Yeah.
You said you had just got off the plane.
Yeah.
Come from the state of Florida.
Yes, yes.
And coming back home to your home. This is
Yeah.
actually your home.
Well, this is my home. I
It's your home.
was raised in this town,
Right.
born and raised in this town. I'm a real Norther.
Right.
I just didn't grow up on one street. I grew up in North. So I always laugh about that.
I grew up on Howard Street.
See, I grew up on Lincoln and Mercer Street.
Okay.
But I also grew up in the Weequay section.
Oh, you did?
And I also lived in North Ward.
Okay.
You know, so I know Newark pretty
So
well.
you did your maturity in the Wheatway section? Or did you...
Well, I did both. I mean,
Okay.
between Lincoln Street and Mercer Street, that's how I was defined as a
Okay.
human being and as a leader and
Yes.
someone that understood.
I
family.
remember you. years
Right.
ago.
So I have a long history in this town.
The things that you do today, you've always done.
Well, yeah, a lot of
You've
people don't
always
know
been that kind of. I think I remember you with a trench coat on years ago.
Yeah, trench trench coat. Oh
Come on
yeah,
now.
I remember that. I think I was
remember you with a
working.
trench coat.
I think I was working in New York at that time.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Look, New York has always been a city.
Yeah, I think this was grade school though.
Grade school? Oh, you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
wait.
because I went to Quitman.
You went to
but
Queen, I went
did-
to Queen of Angels and I went to St. Benedict's.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So you never went to Quitman Street School? No?
I went to Quitman Street School early. Like that was like, my God, maybe.
73?
No, man, hell no. I mean, no, man. I went to Quitman Street School for a day.
Okay.
I mean, I went to Morton Street.
Morton, okay, right there.
Right.
Morton, right.
I went
I
to
live
Morton
on Howard
now,
Street.
yeah.
Howard and Morton.
Yeah,
my,
so-
my family been in Newark in that area since 1927.
Yeah, well, my grandfather, Malcolm Green, used to own a grocery store on Prince Street.
Okay, my grandmother owned a laundromat.
Yeah, so
on
we were
Prince
on
Street,
my family.
196.
Yeah, my grandfather was an entrepreneur too, so you know, I get that I got that in my blood, you know.
So Newark is written all over.
Yeah, Newark is written all over me. I love Newark.
So when you got off the plane and you made some comments on Facebook about the city is deplorable, that there's a plexiglass council people.
I didn't say the city was deplorable. I was saying
Talking
that
about the situation.
I was actually saying that what I've been seeing in the city is horrifying.
Okay.
You know, it is horrifying. The city had, from 1994 to 2006, we had unprecedented growth. I mean, job creation. I mean, great opportunity. We're the 56th municipal economy in the world. We're the housing, the biggest mixed housing development projects in the country.
Sure.
We're just doing great. I mean, Newark got past the image of, you know, now we're a brick city. Now, I mean, we've just become like the laughingstock of the country, but we are a renaissance city.
Yes.
You know, a destination city.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got away from that. I mean,
And that was
Newark-
doing Sharp James.
they were doing Sharp James administration, Gail, Donald Bradley, Donald Tucker,
Yes,
Hank
yes.
Martinez.
The big
I could go
heavyweights.
on. I could go on.
Heavyweight
George
champ, yeah.
Branch.
Right.
I mean, people that really cared about
Yes.
the city of Newark and had principles, and they understood why it was important for the city of Newark to evolve and grow.
Okay.
So I was very, very happy to be a part of that transition from, you know, from last to first.
Okay.
You know, Renaissance city to a great city. And I just look at the city now and I'm just greatly disappointed. And not just the assumed leadership, but the people that live in the city. They should be appalled by what they're seeing. You know, and that's the thing that I was saying. We had a lot of pride
Okay.
when I was growing up in this town, and I think we've lost that.
So, all right. So, and you touched on the fact that the drug dealers on the corner selling drugs and things of that nature, and that do you feel that the city administration have anything to do with that?
Well, I think that what I've been seeing in the last 8 years is just been horrible. I mean, drugs being sold all outdoors in the city of Newark now, garbage everywhere. I mean, impotent, incompetent leadership. I mean, the decisions that they're making for the city is going to set it back even more than it's been set back. And I'm just watching this. Like, I've traveled 738,000 miles in this town, in this country, I should say. So I've been to the Midwest. I've been to the Northern Plains.
Okay.
I've been to probably some suburban cities you didn't even know about.
That's right.
I've been to urban America, I've been everywhere.
Okay.
And I'm starting to see a trend. When I go into black cities, I see this.
So,
I see.
so you're not just saying Newark, you're saying all black
Yeah,
cities.
but Newark is important to me because
Yes.
I live
You
here.
Okay.
That's important to me. You know, I live in Florida, but I live here.
Right.
Right? So I'm saying to you, this city needs to change. They need to change leadership. The people in this town need to get up off of their butts, and they need to get back out in the streets. And they need to take back their city, because there would be nothing left. Listen, there's a big move to use these cities as vehicles to suppress value of human life, suppress value of our children, and you're seeing it right now. You know, so I've done a poll, as you would say, of this country. And I can see what's happening in these black cities. I can see what's happening in Detroit.
Okay.
I can see what's happening now in Oakland. I can see what's happening now in San Francisco. I can see what's happening now in Mississippi and Alabama. Not just the internet out, but I could see it because I've been there.
So, okay, let's focus for a minute on Newark.
Right.
With Newark going forward, as the mayor, Ras Baraka say, and there's a lot of people championing behind him that says that the city is going forward.
Well, I don't know who those people are.
But it's a great many.
I don't doubt that. I mean, because there's a lot of great people that say a lot of things about that's false.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So these must be people that are working for the city or making some money off of the city, because the people that live here, the misery index in this town is 95.5.
Okay.
Okay, so whoever is touting that, I would love to have a conversation with them.
Okay.
Because when you drive through this city, it's horrible. Garbage everywhere. People all over the streets. We now have outsiders coming here panhandling now. You know, our housing stock, they brag about the housing stock and all the buildings that they're building.
Yes,
but I guarantee you, they're probably 35% occupied. I mean, they're not paying any taxes to the city. There's no real value to it because you don't see it spilt on the street.
Okay.
How many small businesses are being created now?
Yes.
How many job opportunities are being created now?
Okay.
So that's an issue for me. So when you want to talk about real growth, economic opportunity, looking at the city as an emerging market, I know a little bit about that. Okay, so at the end of the day, Newark is not moving anywhere. It's been stalled for the last 9 years. I can even go back to the Booker administration, but I can't even go back that far because I can't remember. So you look at the present administration, it's going nowhere. The city is drowning every day. There is no opportunity. Failed schools, failed business opportunities, no growth in small. And I've seen some small businesses evolve.
Can we actually, let me say this right here, as a black man in America.
As a black man?
As a black man.
Are you a black man?
I'm a black man.
I'm gonna tease you. Go ahead. I understand.
We all black.
We all black. Go ahead.
Kevin, as a black man, and when we talk about the schools, we talk about the film schools and things, the grades are not up and things of that nature. Can we actually blame any administration, or can we blame the family values?
You can blame both. You have to blame both. If you have political power and you have political will, you can change those schools. Parents, it is the parents' fault. Now, if you ever heard any of my speeches, I'm always talking about it starts with us first.
Exactly.
Right? It starts with every parent.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the mayor can't.
But the mayor's a leader. So, I don't buy all of that. So you can't say on one day you want to lead and the next day I'm not responsible. So you can't do that.
Well, if the parents are not making these kids read,
wait a minute.
They're not giving them these.
But those are two different discussions.
Okay.
If you run the school board, if you have control over your school board, right, you could talk about, hey, here are the things I would like to see that will bring a quality of education, make our kids more competitive in the new emerging marketplace, make them more effective human capital. You can be the leader in that.
Right.
So you can't say on one end, I'm the leader, and then see your schools failing and don't take a real strong position on, we have to do better. Now, as far as the parents are concerned, it is their fault what's happening to their kids in those schools. I'm not taking any, taking any responsibility away from them.
Sure.
But when you are a leader,
Yes.
you stand up in the middle of the public square and you say, we all have to do parents. We all have to go into these schools.
Yes.
You can't even get parents to go to a PTA meeting, but look at the people that they're hiring at the school board. Look at the people on the school board. See,
Well, are
you
the
can't-
parents concerned? Though?
But listen, I can't legislate what's happening in their houses. I can only see by the results that's
Sure.
happening. So what the results show me is that no one's paying attention to the future of our country. They're the future of our country. They're the future of our group,
Yes.
right? And guess what? We have let them down. But all of these kids that are on the street right now, look, I'm looking at what's happening with our young girls now. I'm looking at what's happening with our young boys. I'm looking at what the breakdown of the family that's having an impact on. I'm not the only one talking about this in America. I'm saying, listen.
But you are. Let me say this right. You are only one from Newark that's actually voicing this on the World Wide Web.
Because
I haven't heard it. We haven't heard many people talk this. You
Well,
understand?
I've talked to tens of thousands of people. I've
Okay.
spoken to about 1.3 million people in the last 3 years. I've been to 79 cities in probably 42 states.
Okay.
I've spoken all over this country. I've spoken to people all over this world. I've addressed these issues with white people. I've addressed these issues with Latino people. I've addressed these
Sure.
issues with people in rural America.
Yes.
I've addressed it with all of it. It is time for Americans, black Americans, white Americans, I don't care who you are, to go back into the public square and take back your cities and fight for your children and fight for your human rights and civil rights. And black leadership in this country, if you want to call them that, have failed. They've failed us. The black legislature in this state has failed us. The black municipal council or the councils of this state have failed us because there's been no movement for us. We live in victimhood. So let me just tell you what we've done. We've gone from neighborhoods where we believed in faith, family, and freedom.
That's right.
To communities where they gave us the term communities, right? It's another social construct where we don't know each other. We didn't know each other.
That's right.
Now we live in a complete victimhood. So everybody's about being a victim now. No one's about being an owner. No one's about taking responsibility. And some people get upset and say, "Oh, I take responsibility." No, I'm talking about as a group, not as an individual.
Okay.
So
but it starts with an individual to create that massive group, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, you can say that, but at the end of the day, some people will say, "Well, why is he? I do my best. I work hard. I do this." I'm not saying that you're not.
Yes.
I'm saying as a group, we have to do better.
Yes.
We have to take responsibility for our own outcomes.
Okay.
Nobody's that. No. Listen, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Don't worry about the barbarian at the gate. Worry about the barbarian inside the gate that looks like you.
Yes.
Malcolm said it. Martin said it. You want me to go down the line?
You don't have to.
You know the history, right?
Yeah, the history.
Okay, so at the end of the day, my friend, it's about, look, if you drive around the city of Newark right now, right, I've been here for 4 days, right? Now, I normally don't I travel a lot, so I've been here 4 days. I've been in restaurants around this town in 4 days, empty. I walk the streets like everybody else, empty. I go all around this town, I drive around this town because I have family living in this town.
Sure.
I mean, outrageous. No place for the kids to play. Now, there's some places I believe that are trying to do that. I'm not suggesting that everybody in this town is not trying to do something, but it's not enough.
So what do you think? All right, so then you basically you're saying, and I guess for what people on Facebook picked up also, that should we throw the whole administration out?
The administration is not working for the city. This is the most corrupt administration I've ever seen in the history of the city. From Agnizio all the way past Sharp, now to this administration. Book. This is the most pervasive, corrupted council and mayor that I've ever seen in the city of Newark, ever.
So, all right.
And I'll stand by that.
You stand by that. Well, but when they say, Mayor Picnic and the people coming together, and I think last year they had, with hip hop people, did 24-hour concert up there by Home Depot.
You really want me? Oh, you just really goading me. You want me to comment on that?
Come on now. I mean,
that's like putting lipstick on a pig. I mean, that's lipstick on a pig. Let me tell you something. That's what we call maximum sophisticated confusion.
Okay.
I mean, that's just to confuse the masses about the lack of what's happening in this town. Give them a party, give them a picnic, go and hug them and say everything's all right. Well, their kids not working, their communities are dirty, their housing infrastructure in the inner part of this city is falling apart. I mean, just think about that. I mean, this place is, listen, I grew up here. So not only did I grow up here, I've invested in here. Not only have I invested in here, I helped to build this city. Not only have to build this city, I've helped to fight to change the image of this city. Because when I go around the country, I'm Kevin Jenkins from Newark.
From Newark, New Jersey.
Okay? All right? Because this is my group, this is my ground. So no one can take that from me.
That's right.
All right? So at the end of the day, like I said, it's maximum sophisticated confusion. I'll call them what they are. If I can call leaders of the world what they are, if I can call leaders of the country what they are, I can say what these people are. This is the most incompetent administration I've ever seen in the history of the city of Newark, period. There's no continuity in development, there's no continuity in education, there's no continuity on the vision of this city, and I'll stand by it. He can come here and sit here and he can announce that he's opened up 455 buildings, and I'll laugh because I know it represents no growth in this city whatsoever.
Let me say this right here, because I've talked to people that some people love Mayor Raz, and
some people love the devil.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, when you say that, some people like mass murderers, some people like drug dealers, some people like bank robbers, some people, I'm just saying, so when you say...
Let me get my point, is that, I remember now, I'm 60 years old.
And so am I.
Yeah, I just turned 60 in June. Now, likewise you. Now, I don't know Raz. I really don't know Raz. I know of his mother, Amina, with her poetry. I know his father. You know, although we're probably close in age, but I come from ancient Egypt, like Amina and the father, Amelia, you see. And but I will say this right here.
You came from ancient Egypt.
I
Oh,
come from
I got
ancient
your. I got
Egypt,
your point. Yeah, I got your
where
point. Yes, I got.
Roz
Yes,
and the rest of
I
them
got.
mainly
Yeah,
come
right.
out of modern day.
I
Because of the parent.
Yeah, yes,
Now,
I
my
know.
father, if he was living today, would be 105 years old.
Oh wow.
He was born 1918, but I was
Right.
born 1923.
Right.
So I have a whole different ideology.
Oh, got you. I guess we
I-
both do.
Yeah, and so, but I have to say this right here. I used to see Roz, and they said that's a Mary son, you know, and he would be out there with his group. This was before the mayorship, before he became mayor, and they were out there protesting against violence. They was out there, you know. Now I seen them. Now I seen them along Four Eyes here, right?
Yeah.
And I seen them. They would be out there in South Ward doing their marches against even police brutality and even against crime, drugs, and all those things. I did see that right there, and I often remind people of that right there. That's what I did see.
Listen, I have a term. Someone called me an activist in one of the cities I was in, and I was quite disturbed by it because I'm not an activist. I advocate for things that I believe in, but an activist is only active until they get what they want.
Okay.
And so he obviously was put in a position of leadership and failed at it. And he got what he always wanted, to be the mayor. And guess what? It has been a nightmare. It's been a failed experiment. And at the end of the day, this is nothing personal. This is about business.
Okay.
I could, when people make things personal,
Sure,
I
sure.
laugh about that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what I
Business,
observe,
right.
what I know, and what I know about government, what I know
Sure.
about economic development, what I know about all of these things that I've been involved in all my life. And I can go in any city and I can tell you what they're doing, how they're doing it, what their growths are. I can tell you.
Right.
I can tell you that.
You're educated into that,
Right. So now, when I come to Newark and I go to other cities, I'm saying, okay, when you come off the highway in 21, you see darkness and garbage. Okay? When you come off the highway in 280, drug dealers, people panhandling all over the street. You go over here on Central Avenue by Wendy's and I think it's McDonald's, panhandling. If you drive through the street, garbage. If you look at the incompetence of the
Let
administration.
me ask you this right here, because this is something that I wanted to interview the mayor about. There's a city road streets and there's county streets. Is that correct?
Let me tell you something.
Can you-
Let me just tell you something. If Sharp James and Gail Chainfield Jenkins and the former council people that really cared about the city was here, they will pave those streets anyway. They will call the county and say, I'm paving them streets, I'm giving you the bill.
Can you do that right there?
You can do anything you want if you have the great relationship between the county and...
Because can a city sanitation department clean the county road without
Now,
their permission?
if there is an emergency, we've done all kinds of things like that. If there's an emergency, if there's things that need to be done, there's coordination,
Sure.
right? So if you can have police coordination, you can have sanitation coordination. Hey, listen, we'll pick up on this side, and guess what? You can create those relationships if you know how to do that.
Yes.
It's been done before. We've had great partnerships with other municipalities around us. I think what Ted Green is doing in East Orange, he's keeping the streets clean, he's keeping his crime low. I drive through there. I have a mother that lives there, right? They got little pockets of things, but you can see that those people up there are taking ownership of their city. Now, it might not be 100% perfect. There is no city, but this city is beyond 100% perfect.
Well, when you talk about East Orange, I want to just touch on this right here. I believe that the evolution of that change in East Orange started with Mayor Bowser.
Of course, without
Because I
question.
was with Bowser
Yeah, without
one
question.
time at a
Mayor
march.
Bowser was a great mayor.
I was with Bowser at a march where someone had got killed somewhere on Summit Street. And Bowser said, and I looked at this guy, I didn't know who he was because he came with some shorts on.
Mayor Bowser was a great guy. Yeah, he's a
Very
great
fair-skinned guy. I didn't have no clue who he was.
Very accomplished
Yeah,
person
yeah.
before he became the mayor.
Yeah, and he said, this is not going to go on. We're going to stop this in East Orange.
Listen, I drive through East Orange, and I have to say this: streets are clean. I drive through East Orange. When it comes to code enforcement, they do a very good job. When I drive, listen, I can only tell you. I look at every city from the ground up.
Okay.
I don't look at every city from the top down.
Yes, sir.
So whatever I see on the ground, I know what your city represents.
All right.
I know what it represents.
Okay.
So 8 years is long enough. If you couldn't transform this city into one of the pillars, great cities of America in 8, 9 years, I don't think there's no more room for you. You need to find something else to do. I would say that to anybody.
Let me say this right here, Kevin. 8 years ago, before RAS, before the RAS administration, it took, I would say, like 5 minutes to get from Branchford Park to 70 on Norfolk Street on down, I guess, go to Open Turn, which used to be Belmont. But today, because of the influx of business,
No. Because of the influx of people leaving the city
Well,
during
no,
the day.
no,
Wait a minute, I know you're not, young man. Let me tell you something. Young man. Now, if you're going to have a conversation
No,
with
no,
me,
I'm having a
oh,
real
you're saying
conversation.
you want to talk about traffic
the
patterns?
traffic, because the pattern has
So-
grown,
so
it
you-
seems
you-
like it's more business going on.
No, where do you live at?
I live right here on Martin Luther King.
Okay, so you live on Martin Luther King. I live
Yes.
right down the street from you, right?
Okay.
You over there by St. Benedict's?
I'm over by the pavilion,
In the Pavilion.
Yeah.
Okay, so right there, if you go to Pavilion,
Right.
you turn that corner right there.
That's right.
There's always traffic there, right?
Station.
And if you go the other way, going towards 21, I think it is.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
There's always traffic there,
That's
right?
right.
So now let's go outside today. Take your camera. Today is a rainy day, but
Right.
today is 4:45.
Okay.
Right? I go into restaurants around here, it's empty. So now the only time you see a lot of traffic down here is if they're doing a party,
Okay.
or if they're doing something at the pad,
Yes.
or if they're doing something at the arena. Now, something that the administration that really cared about making North the Renaissance City created.
Yes.
Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this. I would like to say something good about what I see. I would like that because that's good for business.
Yes.
If you got a great metropolis that's evolving and growing and the misery index is 0.2, 0.5
Sure,
and
sure,
crime is
sure,
low
sure.
and people are outdoors and
Yeah.
people are their kids with strollers and I would be proud of that.
Okay.
That's what we always fought for.
Yes.
I fought to help make this city a great city, but it's not. So you can't live in denial. So if he's your buddy and you feel good about
Well,
it, that's
no,
that's
no.
only you. I'm just saying, I'm not saying
don't know
you.
the man.
I know, I'm just not.
I'd like to
that's-
interview him,
That's
but-
not
okay,
you. I'm not
okay,
saying you.
okay,
But I'm
okay.
saying you made a comment earlier.
Yes.
That doesn't work on me.
Yeah.
See, at the end of the day, it's about results.
Yes.
Right? I mean, your housing authority is being investigated. Your administration has been investigated and is still being investigated. The people that you have working in leadership in your administration is incompetent. But look, I told people the last time I was here, even a mailman is inside City Hall is corrupt. I mean, so I'm not
you're
lying
saying
about
the
this.
whole thing is just done.
It's just done. I think he needs to move on. I think this city needs a change. I think this city needs some healing. And guess what?
Yeah.
I'm an investor. I love this town.
Okay.
I love this town.
As I do. I love yours.
I have children that live in this town.
Okay.
You know, I do.
Yeah.
I come here to see my children. I come here to see, my grandchildren.
Sure.
But my grandchildren know what greatness looks like and what failure looks like. My daughter knows what greatness looks like and what failure looks like. Okay? And this is a failed administration. And this council and the leadership of the council, I don't even know. I think these people come from Mars. I don't know who these people are. The laws that they're passing, the zoning laws that they're passing, the quality of life laws that they're passing, all of it is just horrific. It's going to have a major impact on the citizens of this town. And you know why people aren't saying anything? Because I believe people are just complacent with mediocrity.
Okay.
I think we are not raising future leaders because if they're looking at them as leaders, we're doomed.
Well, I think that, when, again, as you go down to University Avenue, you go down Washington Street, you go down Halsey Street, you go down Broad Street, the new building that's on McCarter Highway that's supposed to be Jackson building.
Jacksonville.
The new building, the structure there.
You mean something that have Shaq's name on it?
Well,
I think Shaq's a great guy, and I wouldn't call it this. I know who built the building.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into that. I mean, I think
Well, we
Shaq.
all thought
I
that.
think he's listen. He's a great guy.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
not.
Love him to death.
I
I've
think
never
he's
met
a
him.
great human being. No,
Never
no.
met
I mean, whatever he's doing, he's always good for people.
Yes.
So I'm not disqualifying that. I don't want anybody to think that. And see, and it's not about tearing people down.
Sure.
It's about lifting them
Lift
up.
them up, yes.
And it's always about telling the truth, shaming the devil and telling the truth. This administration is going to put us in a situation for the next 20 years that we're not going to be able to come out of.
So, in terms of what Michelle Obama said during election time, when they go low, we go high. Is there a high that we
I don't
go
believe.
to?
I don't know what Michelle Obama was talking about. I mean, I'm not going to even get into that. Michelle Obama, who's listening to her? Her husband did nothing for Black America at all. Did nothing. Oh, I know what he did. He put us to sleep. And so let's not have that conversation. I'm talking about what's happening in the town that I love. Right? What's happening in the town is that we have incompetent leadership. And guess what? I would challenge them. Here's the deal. Any one of them that think that or say that I'm saying something wrong, they can come sit right here with you, and I will debate them.
Well,
I've
I'll
offered
try
to
make
debate
that
him.
happen.
I've offered to debate him. I said I would raise $50,000 to do it. You know what he said? He said, "Oh, he must need the money." I'm giving you $50,000. I didn't ask you to give me $50,000, and I'll still raise $50,000 for him to debate me on the condition of this town and where this town should be going. He won't do it because he can't stand on it. He can't. If he stands on any development that's being done in the city, that's a joke to me because I know what that's all about. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm just not here to tear down the city. I'm saying that it's time for the city to activate itself and take back its city.
And Kevin, what would be the first pillars that we would use to stand on to start taking the city back?
Well, first of all, one of the things my mother always told me, before you can even get started, you got to get past your denial of what we've allowed to happen. The second thing we have to do is we have to do a complete assessment of what our assets are in this city. Real assets, right? What are our real assets? So we talked about the arts center. We talked about. We already know the airport. I can regurgitate that until I throw open the mouth.
Yes.
But we talking about human capital now. You know, what's the human capital in this town? How do we look at this this city as an emerging market?
Yes.
Like they would look at any new emerging market. So when you say emerging market, we have to look at those assets, but then you have to get people to buy in.
Sure.
The people in this town are not connected to this town. They have all just backed away because they're unhappy. They see what's happening. They see what the administration is doing. This guy has become a dictator. I mean, we let this little guy from South 10th Street come in here and dictate what this city should look like when he has no, I got to tell you, I've been watching him. He has no perspective of how to grow out a city whatsoever. Very reactionary. So now, people say, well, why is he beating up on him? Because he's a poor leader.
Okay.
Am I supposed to sit back and just have some tea and say, oh, everything's okay, when I know it's not? When people attack Sharp, you know what he did? He went to work. He built the city.
Yeah,
When people attacked any other, well, forget it. I know, I was there firsthand. He rebuilt this city. And you know why everybody keeps going back to him? It's because he worked with the council, a responsible council that understood development, that understood public policy, that understood how buildings work, how to build a city, and they built this city. That's why everybody keeps going back to him.
Well, yeah, and I'm going to step off the mayor and say that right there. It's almost like when I was interviewing Sharp about his new book, and I didn't bring it, I didn't word it like this, but you know, whenever I read the Bible, I stay in, I'm in the New Testament.
You're in the New Testament?
I'm in the New Testament.
Well, I'm still Old Testament guy.
But I always go back to Exodus.
Right.
The rise of Moses.
Yes, yeah.
And I think of Sharp when I say that, right?
Well, you should.
But let me say this about Sharp. Sharp, one of the things that I guess I didn't have a pet peeve about it, but I had like a little, it little irritated me a little bit. Sharp never take all the credit. He gives it to you guys.
Well,
he never, Sharp, I tell you, interviewing Sharp, the complicated part was that when I was saying you, he kept throwing it to everybody else.
Because that's what a leader does. Because you can't lead without other people.
Yeah, that was
You can't lead without other people.
Quite an experience.
Yeah, we say it again. You can't lead without other people. Okay, so Sharp might have had 2 bodyguards around him. He got 42. This guy, listen, we gave him a shot. Okay, but it's not working. The experiment is not working. We gave him a shot. The confidence level in this town, the misery index in this town, how people really feel in their gut about the leadership of this town, they know it. He knows it. Listen, 13,000, look, from 27,000 votes when him and Gail ran against each other, right?
Yes.
To 13,000 votes, to 10,000 votes, and I guarantee you, in the next election, it'll be 5. If there's no one stepping up and no group stepping up to say we have to take back our city.
Well, let me say this right here. My family come out of Dorset, Georgia.
You're a Georgia boy, huh?
Yeah, well,
you still got roots in
Well, no, I got roots. Because they come out of there 100 years ago, 1923, they went to Elizabeth in 1923.
Yeah, wow.
And then in 2027, my grandmother moved everybody. After my grandfather died, she moved everybody to Prince Street. Now, this was way before the project.
We all started in Prince Street.
Yeah. But this is all way before, I tell them, way before the development of the project. And I just say, if we lose the cities as black people, and I'm talking about the cities all over the nation.
Well, you lost them already.
But I mean, okay, yes, we have, but we're still there, and our numbers still count. But if we lose these cities, and since you're more educated in this area, you travel, you've been to these cities, you know how to make it working in these cities and things of that nature. Like, kind of like an Adam Smith with a father of Western economics. You know about the development of this thing. If we lose these cities, right, I mean, totally lose them, what will we have as Black Americans?
Well, listen, you know, that's a big question, but we've lost them already. Listen, here's the deal. We have probably 50% of the Black Americans leave this city. We have Black legislators at the state, right? We have Black legal counsels. We have Black business administrators. We have Black clerks. We got Black, I think the majority of these people that say they are Black, they're anti-Black. Because every policy that they actually do hurts their people. So if you look at our real estate is not being developed by people that really understand development and growth. It's being done by friends and families that are taking money from this city every day. So at the end of the day, you know, I could say that, and there are some cities that are doing quite well, right? Some cities, I live in a city in Florida, very, very, I hate to use the word diverse, Black, right, Grant, doing quite well.
Is the city council done?
No, it's a mixture, right? We used to have a mixture here in Newark. We used to have some white, some Latino and Black. I mean, but you know, we're predominantly a Black city.
Yeah.
We're still using the word minority. We're still using the word set aside. We're still talking about, oh, we're a poor city. We moved away from that. Now we're back to being the poor old Newark. Oh, we need assistance here. All of the money that's being wasted in this town is staggering. The money that's being wasted in this town is staggering.
But so basically, we still we will still have a hand in this city.
Really?
Do we? I'm asking you.
No, not under this present administration. We don't. We've lost control.
But then again, so all right, under this administration. But then again,
you know who built the Art Center?
I thought Sharp Fans.
No. That's of course I'm saying. But you know who was in charge of building the Art Center? A Black architect.
Okay, I didn't know.
You know who did all of the affirmative action? A Black man.
Okay.
You know who built the team? The team that built the arena? Black.
Okay.
Black leadership coming out of City Hall.
Okay.
Right? You know who built this town from 1994? Well, you can talk from Sharp's, from 1994 to 2006. A Black administration and a predominantly Black council, Latino council that understood the importance of image,
Okay.
culture, right, and vision.
Okay.
Okay? Now, you don't have that in this town now. And if anybody, I tell you this, if anybody wants to debate what I'm saying, they can come sit here in that screen right there and debate me on it.
Okay.
Now, I always say, you can, look, I'll stand up to anybody in this town, in this country, in this state, and I'll tell them.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, but so then, is it over for us? I mean,
I didn't say it's over for us. We have to start making better decisions for us.
so then we still have a comeback punch.
Well,
Do we have
I
one?
think that if New Yorkers
Could
wake up,
this be? Could we, as you put it? Because I'm looking at the city, I guess, from an emotional point of view.
what do you think I'm doing?
And but no. Well, emotion is one thing, but
I got
intellectual
you.
intellect is another
I
thing.
got
To
you.
know the actual working of
Right.
everything, you know. Like if you give me a mini bike engine, I know the breakdown of the Tecumseh engine.
Right.
I understand that whole mechanism outside of the ride.
Right.
I know what it takes to get this thing moving. So what I'm saying to you, do you think that, do we have a fifth round? Like
Yeah.
do we have a fifth round in terms of what, like Ali had in Zion with George Foreman, when they said he backed George Foreman up. And I think it was Howard Cole said he backed him up, and he wasn't supposed to do that.
You know,
do we have that? Do we have that as people, as black
to
folks?
to be positive, I think we do. I just think we have to make some tough decisions.
Okay.
I think we do. Great question, and I want to answer it very succinctly. I think we do. I have a lot of hope for this city. I just don't have a lot of hope for the leadership of this city. I have none. And I've been very consistent. Now, this is not new for me. I've been very consistent. And look, I've been away for a while.
Yes.
I mean, I literally, man, I've been gone for like 3.5 years. I mean, on the road, and I'm going back. So I've learned a lot about this country. I've learned a lot about all of the things that I think that are important for us to make some better decisions about where we see ourselves as a country, where we see ourselves as a city, and other cities around this country too. I don't think there's anybody in the city of Newark or anybody in this country that have traveled 739,000 miles, 38,000, give or take. Okay, so when I'm telling you, what I'm saying to you is that I've traveled and I've learned, and it has changed me in a big way. So I'm looking at the world this way, not this way.
Okay.
I'm looking at the world this way, not this way. So I understand now all of the complexities that are happening in all of these cities and who's trying to manage these governments, who's trying to take over our country. I know it, I've seen it firsthand. I've been there in those rooms. So I'm a Norker from Mercer Street, 440 Elizabeth Avenue, all around this city,
Sure.
and I'm telling the people that I love and people that I've been around and people that I've worked for, we're in trouble. And this ain't the way.
What can we do to
Let me tell you what I tell people on stages across America. I want everybody at home to quietly close their eyes when they have time by themselves and literally think about what kind of city and what kind of country do you want for your children. Because it's all about our children.
Yeah.
What kind of world we for our children.
Sure.
Then I want you to take a deep breath. I tell them all the time, take a deep breath. And then find your God consciousness so you can find your God courage. And when you find your God courage, you can stand up against any tyranny. That's what I tell people. I tell people that. That's what motivates me. That's what motivates my family.
It sounds like I hear you, Kevin, but it sounds like we almost need a hero to come along. But this time the hero need to be all of us.
I think that's a very good point. I think right there, that's wonderfully said, my friend. That's wonderfully said.
Yeah.
Wonderfully said.
Yeah.
Like I did this interview because I like you too, and I've seen your stuff. And I do interviews all the time.
Yeah.
Listen,
I
I've done
appreciate
so many podcasts.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You know what I'm focused on? This is
What's
what
that?
I'm working on now.
Good.
I'm working on trying to bring wellness back to my community,
Okay.
moving us out of sick care to well care.
Okay.
I think we need a
From
revolution.
sick care to well
Yeah,
care.
that's
Well
right.
care.
Right, moving out of the emergency room being our doctor,
Sure.
really reclaiming our health because we have been captured by big pharma.
Yes.
We have been captured by an industry that wants to continue to commoditize our bodies.
Yes.
And I got to tell you something. When I drive around and I look around my city, we are very sick in this town. We're very sick in this country. The comorbidities that we suffer from are horrible. Some people will say, "Oh, it's racial, it's this." Well, guess what? When I was growing up, we had a lot of racial problems, but we were healthier.
Yes.
We were drinking cleaner water. We were not eating processed food. So we need a whole repurposing
Yes.
of wellness. Not
But
preventive care,
the game
but
has
wellness.
changed.
But not preventive
Yeah.
care, but wellness. So my focus this year, right, is to work on developing something that's national,
Yes.
that's going to bring us out of sick care to well care. We need a revolution for the black community around wellness.
Yes.
Not prevention, but wellness. So that's my commitment.
But the game has changed so much with materialistic things. Most people are very good at it. We have a whole culture today that's wearing sneakers that's $500 to $600.
Well, those are social things that we do have to work on. But if we lead by example,
Yes.
right? A young guy or a young woman would see us leading by example.
Yes.
The examples that they see now is this sub culture
Yes.
that they're trying to promote as black culture. That's not black culture. The black leadership that I'm seeing around the country today, they think they're representing, the leadership of the past. No, they're a dismal failure. They're horrible. Actually, they are proxies for the globalists.
Okay.
They're proxies they're guard dogs for the globalists. Just look at their policies.
Sure.
So-
But today, let me say this right here. Are you 60? I'm 60. We go back 30, 40 years. 40 years, you was 20. I was 20. We could almost recognize a rich black young kid coming through the airport and say, okay, that's Bill Cosby son. That's Sidney Poitier daughter. We kind of knew. But today, with all the money that the black folk today, the black Americans have made, the salary, the money that they have today, are we better with that money? I mean, we have more rich blacks today than we ever had.
All you have to do is just drive around your cities.
Yes.
Don't listen to me. Get in the car.
No, I'm gonna drive around.
Get in the
I'm
car.
gonna drive around.
Get in the car.
Yeah, I'm gonna
All
drive-
I'm saying
yeah.
to you is, just because I might have individual wealth,
Yeah.
doesn't represent anything for my group.
Okay.
It doesn't represent anything.
But I
for my
mean,
group.
we're not putting that on you. I'm just
No,
saying.
I'm not saying. I'm using myself as an
okay,
example.
Yeah. But there's so many of us today that have so much money.
Yeah, but we've divested from, building institutions and building, our neighborhoods. I don't like to use the word communities. We're so mired in victimhood. Let me tell you where black Americans went wrong. I got to get out of here. Black Americans went wrong, and I've been studying this, when we chose politics over ownership. We should have chose ownership over politics. See, if you choose ownership, you can drive your politics.
Yes.
So if you look at all of these agencies and all of these race baiters and all of these,
Sure, sure.
these guard dogs for the oligarchs, you know what I mean?
Yes.
All they're doing is keeping us perpetually trapped in fear and anger, right? Nothing that will help us to evolve as a nation of people that have value,
Sure.
right? So if you look at our children, they don't think they have value. When you look at our young women and our young men, they think what they see on TV, P. Diddy and Jay-Z and, some of these leaders that are promoting themselves as leaders, those people are garbage. Those people don't represent the best of us. That sub culture is not black culture. Black culture represents black excellence. Okay? So at the end of the day, I'm an old guy, so I'm going to leave a challenge. On your show, if anybody wants to dispute what I said, they are more than welcome to call you and say, "Well, I want to debate
Well,
Kevin
I'm
Jenkins."
gonna make sure that it's in most homes. I'm gonna send it around and
You set the parameters.
Yes,
I will fly wherever I'm at, and I will come back here
Okay.
because I live right up the street.
Yes. Well, I appreciate it.
I love you.
Love you.
And I love, it's about love too,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I mean,
sir.
the only way we can save this planet is seriously,
Yeah.
the only way we can save this planet is to show some love to each other. And I'm telling people in this town, I love you,
Yes.
but you got to stand up now.
Yes,
You got to
yes,
stand up for your
yes,
children.
Yes.
Stand up for your children.
Stand up.
I mean, really, you see what they're doing in our schools now to our kids, teaching them all this evil stuff. And I don't see, but what black people say, oh, well, they have the right to. No, they do not have the right to teach my kids that's a girl, that she should be a horse.
Yeah.
No way.
No, that's it.
There is no way. And I'll get you, every black parent, every Latino parent, every parent in this town believes that, but they're afraid to step out on it because guess what? The majority of the people in this town
What I think that at this point in challenge, what they need to be teaching
Is
and
arithmetic.
praying about whether Vladimir Putin going to launch one of them nuclear missiles, that we don't seem to have that in our vocabulary at all. We just laxy-daisy going along. You understand what I'm saying?
I think that you're doing a great service, and I came here because I promised you I was going to come.
Yeah, I appreciate
and I'm leaving over the weekend. But I got to tell you, I really appreciate what you do,
Yes.
and thank you for standing up,
Yes.
and thank you for offering this opportunity to have this conversation. And I had fun too. I had some fun with it.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.